Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, guys, I don't know if you heard the show with Isaï Williamsa last week. It was awesome, and I expect another one to be just as good because this guest is amazing. Isaï is soul activator and medicine being, sacred stasis. Isaï is out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Website, sacredstasis.com. If you want to call in, you can, 631-730-7376, or get me on the instant feedback. Casey, instant feedback, it pops up. I will ask Isaï, and Isaï will respond to your question. So, with no further ado, guys, it is my honor and privilege to bring to you the Isaï Show with the one and only Isaï Williamsa. Isaï, how are you today?
I'm doing really well. How are you, Casey?
Well, every time I get to talk to you, I was at such a relaxed state last week. That was pretty cool. So why don't you tell people, just as a refresher, what your talent is, what you do?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the introduction, Casey. So I am a soul activator and medicine being. Soul activation is a term that I have coined kind of similar to life coaching, except soul activation refers to the clients I take on for people to remember who they are and what they are and reclaim their divinity first from within, and then they transform their lives all around them. I work with a multitude of healing modalities, first off being energetic balancing of the chakras and realigning them. I do distance healing. I do divination. I work with trauma release work. I have my degree in psychology, so that really, really helps as well. I do a multitude of things. So if any of you listeners are interested in what I do even further, you can just go on my website, sacredstasis.com. Okay,
cool. So I've been meaning to ask you, I'm kind of psyched. You have a topic which is called Dreaming Awake. I have a pen in hand, and I'm ready to take notes because it sounds really cool.
Yeah. So I wanted to focus today, and I'm glad that you brought this up because it's a large part of the process of becoming an entrepreneur. I wanted to focus today upon becoming an entrepreneur, how you can live your dream, how you can dream awake, right? Mm-hmm. So what is dreaming awake? So according to what is known as the simulation theory, we exist in a simulation. This was coined by Dr. Nick Bosman coming from Oxford, and it became popular in 2003. But he's not the only one to first to theorize this. This hypothesis can be traced back to antiquity, for example, to the butterfly dream of Master Xi.
Can you explain what that is? I'm sorry, Isaï.
Yeah, of course. So the butterfly dream is, to kind of dumb it down, it's this individual, the Master Xi, he has a dream of being a butterfly, but he comes into the awareness that he was dreaming and he's actually himself as a human. But he questions, was he the butterfly dreaming, or was it him? So was it
the
him
human
that was dreaming that he was a butterfly,
cool.
or was the butterfly dreaming that he was a human, right?
That's awesome.
So the story... Yeah. So the story is the distinction between waking and dreaming is a false dichotomy. If one distinguishes them, if you can distinguish if you're being awake, how can you tell if you're dreaming or if you're awake? So it's kind of like an inception kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But this goes back thousands and thousands of years. This concept of dreaming awake and what that means, right? The Indian philosophy of Maya, or the illusion, also is a very great example of this as well. Or a version of this hypothesis was also theorized as a part of a philosophical argument by René Descartes, who famously stated, what is it? Cogito ergo sum, which is I think, therefore I am.
Okay.
The concept of dreaming awake is referring also and being tied to lucid dreaming. And what lucid dreaming is either some people are naturally naturally talented at this, or you can train yourself to do this. And
It's
what
the
happens with
best.
lucid dreaming is you're dreaming, and then all of a sudden in the dream, you're aware that you're dreaming. Once you're aware that you're dreaming, you have full control of the dream. You can create what you want. You can do what you want.
No responsibility.
Well, in that case, 100%, right? Or taking on responsibility, whatever you desire. So the concept of dreaming awake really refers to being in whatever reality this is, and being able to tap into manifestation, being able to tap into creating what we fully desire in our lives. Going back into witnessing the dream, right? If you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in a dream, and you're being aware of it, you're witnessing it. Even the act of witnessing changes our reality. You can see this as the Hawthorne effect in psychology, or as the observer effect in physics. So science really shows this as well, that just us witnessing a physical matter, just us witnessing changes the art of creation.
Is this still a lucid dream if you're witnessing it?
So in the dream state, so science can't even tell us what dreams are, right? Like we know that dreaming on a biological sense calms the body down. It's a way for us to de-stress from our day. But in reality, we know what parts of the brain are and are not working, but scientists still don't know the reason for dreaming. Because if you look back in biology, for example, there really is no evolutionary positive impact of dreaming, because our predators could kill us when we're sleeping.
Oh,
so
wow.
scientists really don't know the reason why we dream. But when it comes to being aware of the dream, not only while we're quote unquote dreaming while we're asleep, but also being aware while we're awake, and how we're able to manipulate and create our reality while we're in this waking state of consciousness.
It's so incredible, and to hear you explain it, I'm so interested. I mean, it's really a amazing thing. Let me take a quick break, okay? We come back. You got a couple pages here full of people asking questions, but also let's get into the process of trust, loving the process, and my guest, guys, incredible person, Isaï Williamsa, excuse me. We'll be right back with Isaï.
Aloha to all you lovebirds out there. Are you thinking about a destination wedding? Let I Do Hawaiian Weddings help you realize that dream. We specialize in Hawaiian destination weddings. Our unique knowledge of the islands and vast experience with amazing locations will help us create the destination wedding of your dreams. We can help you celebrate your love for each other with a sandy beach wedding, flower lei and bouquet, photography and videography, limousine transportation, hula dancing, ukulele music, and a beautiful dove release. We can even assist you with marriage license and online paperwork. I Do Hawaiian Weddings is all about love. So visit us on the web at idohawaiianweddings.com or call us at 808-330-5555 to realize your dream destination wedding in Hawaii now.
Seeking a more fulfilled life? Desiring to step into your power? Hello, my name is Isaï Williamsa, creator and founder of Sacred Stasis. Soul activator, energy healer, and sound alchemist, I assist individuals in remembering and reclaiming their power, no matter who they are. Visit our website, sacredstasis.com, and fill out our form for a free consultation, or give us a call. Let's take the steps to transform and heal your life together.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, guys, we're back on the Isaï Williamsa show. Welcome back, Isaï.
Yes, thank you, Casey. So tapping back into what we were talking about just recently about dreaming awake.
Please.
Yes. So a lot of philosophers theorize this. A lot of physicists theorize this, that we're living in in a simulation. We're living in a dream. We're living in a holographic universe.
Like the butterfly person?
Master G, yes. Or it goes back to the Indian philosophy of the Maya, or the philosophical argument by Rene Descartes, who says, I think, therefore I am. It goes also back to the Aztec philosophical text that theorized that the world was a painting or a book written by a being. So this theory is not new. It goes back thousands and thousands of years, right? Even Neil deGrasse Tyson and Elon Musk have chimed in on this theory. So if you're interested, listeners, you can just Google it, research it. You can dive really, really deep into it. It's really beautiful. So what does dreaming awake have to do with manifestation? What does it have to do with creating our reality? So the first thing we need to understand about the process of manifestation is we are conduits for creating our reality, whether that gets to be a reality of suffering, whether that gets to be a reality of joy, and whether that gets to be a reality of both. You can't have one without the other, right?
Right.
The Tao teaches the yin and yang. You need both. You need a balance and harmony. That's what sacred stasis is named after, is that harmonious balance between the two and being able to flow with it. So the process of manifestation, there's 5 steps. Step 1 is get clear about your intentions. What do you want? What are you calling into your life? Step 2, clear out your limiting beliefs. The saboteur that talks to us all the time. How are you able to not silence it, but how are you able to talk to it and say, you know what? Thank you for saying that, but that's not valid in my reality right now. Mm-hmm. How are you speaking negatively about yourself? Why are you speaking negatively about yourself? Getting to clear those things out, right? Step 3, let go. Let go of the attachment to what you want, because the more we run towards something, the further it gets away from us. Or there's a saying, when there's a rope tied around your hand and you're holding on to it tight, and something's pulling on it, it's going to hurt you. Now, the way that you're going to be able to fully come into health and come into joy is you let go of the rope, right? So the third step is let go of the expectation of something to happen, right? Step 4, practice patience. Be patient with yourself. Like a flower, this has been coming up for me a lot in my business right now, with my new creations and what I'm going to offer to the world, is if you look at a flower, you can't force the flower to grow, right? You have to seed it, you have to water it, and then let it do its thing. Right. You can't force anything. So be patient with yourself. And then the final step 5, is be ready to receive. Know that you have done all the work that you can, letting go of the attachment, waiting for it, and just waiting. Not expecting something to happen, but be ready to receive fully. So those are the 5 steps to the process of manifestation, and how that gets to work with entrepreneurship is absolutely beautiful. That's how I've come into who I am right now, who you're talking to, who you're listening to. Right. And we all have the capability of doing this. So, wow,
there's a lot of thought that goes in there. You're a very deep person. I got to tell you that.
Thank you, Casey.
Hey, let's go to some of your fans. Jordan in Illinois wants to know, what do you believe happiness is?
What a beautiful question, Jordan. For me personally, happiness looks like seeing people thrive in sustainable communities, living their authentic truth, and tapping into whatever makes them happy and how that can make them abundant. For me, that's what happiness is. But everyone's definition of happiness is something different. So that's what my definition of happiness is, Jordan.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. Let's go to Doug in Maryland. Does faith make Reiki stronger?
What a beautiful question, Doug. There is something to be said, talking and touching briefly back to what I was talking about dreaming awake, creating our reality. There is something to be said about faith healing. I've seen it personally done, and I know of people who have had it done to them. When it comes to Reiki and energetic healing, faith on both parties helps, right? There's something to be said about the placebo effect. You could say that, right? Mm-hmm. Faith could be synonymous with placebo. Scientists say and psychologists say that 1/3 of healing is the placebo effect. We see this in studies. We see this throughout all the scientific theory. So yes, Doug, faith definitely has a part to play with Reiki and a part to play with healing.
Cool. Isaï, I have a question for you.
For sure, Casey.
I think the coolest thing is what you were talking about before, the lucid dreaming. How do we get to do that more? Because that is so awesome.
So yeah, I definitely am not a master of lucid dreaming. It's not my forte, although if you're interested, you could Google it. There's a bunch of resources. But the way that I understand how to do it is there's different steps of how to take, and there's different visualizations. A lot of it has to do with visualization. So to keep it brief is the mind stays awake while the body goes into a completely you're in a hypnagogic state, what psychologists would say, is the body completely relaxes while the mind is fully awake. Lucid dreaming is able to do this. It's a kind of meditative state that there's a lot to it, but that's basically a watered down version of it.
Yeah, it's you're definitely on top, because I have these hypnagogic hallucinations because I have narcolepsy, right? So
okay.
So it's very scary, but at the same time, it's really cool because you can't move. I'm sure you know all about that, and I'm sure you've studied that. But what you're talking about is so amazing. I mean, what would it be like for people out there who haven't experienced it, where you're dreaming, but yet you're dreaming, so you could do whatever you want. I mean, you could, you could ride a buffalo, or you could you could ride a spaceship. It's the coolest thing ever. But then try waking up from that. That's pretty cool. That's not cool,
right? See, and that's then that's what the cool thing is, right? Is like when you talk about dreaming, it's a paradox, because when we fall asleep, we dream. But I fully believe and know that we are dreaming right now. We are and the reason why is because we are fully able to create in our lives whatever we want. Now, I'm not meaning breaking the laws of physics. Like, I can't hold my hand out and create a burger out of nothing, right? But when it comes to the process of manifestation or the law of attraction, we are able to fully create what we want, but by remembering who we are, what we are, and what we're capable of doing. I'm sure, let me ask you, Casey, a question.
Sure. Isaï, sure.
The process of how you came into who you are right now and your life, how did you dream awake your reality? Did you just one day all of a sudden wake up to it, or was there work? Was there steps? Was there processes that you had to take?
Well, thank you for asking, but I believe in my situation it was head injury, and I think that's why those things happened to me. So I got to count my blessings, you know what I mean? It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, I've had those things that you're talking about. And, man, that is the neatest thing. But then the thing is, when you want to get up, you can't move your body, and you need someone to touch you to wake you up, which kind of stinks. But to get to that level that you're talking about, wow, you must have read more books than I have ever seen.
Yeah, I do love books. I grew up in a very, very specific way in the commune that I did, around a lot of eclectic belief modalities. But it involves a lot of trust, right? Being able to manifest involves trusting yourself. What is the process of trusting yourself? That's what I wanted to touch on too. Is fully. There's a saying: "Jump and the net will appear," and that's scary. Right, that's a scary saying.
Trust.
I didn't
That's
believe
trust.
it for a long time. What is trust?
No, that's trust. Like that statement right there. You have to trust that it's going to be there. And I don't know if that's a spiritual thing or if that's the universe. I'm not quite sure, but I'd love to talk to you more about it, because you're a very interesting person.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful concept, because through our conditioning, through our psychological conditioning, since we're children, most of us in society have been traumatized in one way or another.
Yeah.
Even if it's small and big, no one can compare each other's traumas to one another.
Of course.
Each one is very divinely for themselves, working through that. So when we grow up, a lot of us create these barriers and these walls around us. We can't trust each other. We can't trust society. Some people have difficulty trusting themselves, which is in the end the biggest one. Coming into a state of working with that inner child work, which is a lot of what I do as well. We're able to fully realize, oh my gosh, I don't have to be afraid of the world. I don't have to be afraid of myself. And once we're able to trust, firstly, ourselves, then we are able to open the door of creating whatever we want.
Wow. That makes sense. Yeah. And on that, that's let's take that one into the weekend. But Isaï, my grandmother used to say to me, if she wanted to hear from me, hey, you have the floor. Isaï, you have the floor. Anything you want us to think about until next time we speak over the weekend?
Of course.
You got it. You got it, my friend.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Casey, again, I want to shout you out for being an amazing host and asking all these beautiful questions.
You're awesome.
And hosting me. Yeah, so the last thing I want to say is love your process, people. Whatever your process is, and I always kind of come back to the same ending, whatever's happening in your life, to find that stability, whatever that gets to be, whether that gets to be your family, whether that gets to be your practice, whether that gets to be your work, finding a balance, finding a harmony, and loving the process of all aspects of it. It brings you into a state of trust, brings you into a state of manifestation, and becoming aware that we are, in the end, creative beings. If any of you are interested in any of my services, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Sacred Stasis, and also online, sacredstasis.com. That's SCARED. STASIS. I do distance sessions, so no matter where you are listening, I can connect with you. So go ahead and reach out, and we can talk.
Beautiful. Isaï becoming one of my favorite guests. And guys, have a great weekend. Same to you, Isaï. We will speak again. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.